On February 17, 2025, Delta Flight 4819 embarked on what seemed like a routine journey. Operated by Endeavour Air, a subsidiary of Delta Air Lines, the Bombardier CRJ900 aircraft, tail number N932XJ, took off from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport shortly after 11:34 a.m. CST. The flight was destined for Toronto Pearson International Airport, with an expected arrival time around 2:13 p.m. EST. Passengers settled in for the relatively short flight, unaware of the harrowing experience that awaited them. As Flight 4819 approached Toronto, the weather conditions were less than ideal. The city had recently been hit with a snowstorm, blanketing the ground in over 8 inches of snow. While the runway itself was reported to be dry, strong winds buffeted the aircraft. Some reports suggest wind gusts reached up to 40 mph, while others claim they were as high as 70 mph. The pilots, seasoned professionals with years of experience, prepared for a challenging landing. At approximately 2:13 p.m. EST, Flight 4819 touched down on the runway at Toronto Pearson. However, the landing was far from smooth. The aircraft, seemingly caught by a gust of wind, bounced violently, its tires losing contact with the tarmac. Passengers gripped their armrests, their hearts pounding as the plane lurched back into the air. The pilots fought to regain control of the aircraft, desperately trying to correct its course. Despite their best efforts, the situation took a turn for the worse. The CRJ900, unable to overcome the forces acting upon it, slammed back onto the runway, this time with a sickening crunch. The impact tore the wings from the fuselage, sending sparks flying across the tarmac. The plane, now uncontrollable, skidded off the runway, flipping onto its back before coming to a stop in a mangled heap. Inside the cabin, chaos reigned as passengers screamed, luggage flew through the air, and the smell of jet fuel filled the air. Ashley Zook, a passenger on Delta Flight 4819, captured the terrifying moments of the crash landing on her Snapchat. The video, later shared by her brother James Zook, showed the chaotic scene inside the cabin as the plane hit the runway multiple times before coming to a halt upside down. Ashley, visibly shaken but thankfully unharmed, could be heard saying, "We just crashed and I'm literally upside down." Zach Nolan, who was at Toronto Pearson during the incident, witnessed the aftermath of the crash. "I saw the plane flipped over on the runway, and there were emergency vehicles everywhere," Nolan recounted. "The atmosphere was incredibly tense. People were anxious, and you could tell something terrible had happened." First responders, already on high alert due to the challenging weather conditions, rushed to the scene within minutes of the crash. Firefighters battled a small fuel leak and worked to extricate passengers from the mangled wreckage, while paramedics provided immediate medical attention. The coordinated response of emergency personnel was nothing short of heroic, ensuring that all passengers and crew members were safely evacuated from the aircraft. "It was a scene of controlled chaos," recalled one firefighter. "We train for situations like this, but nothing can truly prepare you for the reality of a plane crash. Our priority was to get everyone out safely and provide medical assistance to those who needed it." As investigators begin to piece together the events leading to the crash of Delta Flight 4819, all eyes are on the potential contributing factors. While it's still too early to definitively pinpoint the cause, preliminary findings suggest a complex interplay of weather conditions, potential human error, and possible mechanical issues. The strong winds present at the time of the crash are undoubtedly a significant factor under scrutiny. With gusts reported as high as 70 mph, the pilots faced severe challenges during their final approach and landing. Crosswinds in particular can be treacherous for aircraft, especially during touchdown. Investigators are analyzing wind speed and direction data from the airport's weather station, as well as the aircraft's flight data recorder, to determine the precise wind conditions at the moment of the crash. Human error, while a sensitive topic, cannot be ruled out as a potential contributing factor. The investigation will delve into the pilot's training, experience, and decision-making process leading up to the crash. Factors such as pilot fatigue, communication between the cockpit and air traffic control, and adherence to standard operating procedures will be thoroughly examined. Mechanical failure, while less likely given the CRJ900's generally good safety record, remains a possibility. The investigation will include a comprehensive inspection of the aircraft's wreckage, focusing on the engines, wings, landing gear, and flight control systems. Maintenance records will be reviewed to identify any pre-existing issues that may have contributed to the crash. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada, leading the investigation, is working closely with the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board to determine the cause of the crash. Experts from Bombardier, the aircraft manufacturer, and Endeavour Air are also assisting with the investigation. The investigation is expected to take several months, if not longer, to complete, and a final report outlining the findings and recommendations will be published. The aftermath of Delta Flight 4819's crash landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport sent ripples of shock and concern throughout the aviation industry. While the miraculous survival of all passengers and crew members is a testament to the aircraft's safety features and the swift response of first responders, the incident serves as a stark reminder of the ever-present risks associated with air travel. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, Toronto Pearson International Airport was closed for over 2 hours as emergency personnel responded to the scene. 2 runways remained closed for an extended period to facilitate the investigation, leading to significant flight delays and cancellations. Delta Airlines issued a travel waiver for passengers scheduled to travel to or from Toronto, allowing them to rebook their flights without incurring change fees. Delta CEO Ed Bastian expressed his gratitude to the first responders and the Delta Endeavour teams for their swift actions, stating, "We are incredibly grateful for the quick response of first responders and the heroic efforts of our flight crew and airport personnel. Their professionalism and dedication undoubtedly saved lives today." The Transportation Safety Board of Canada, the agency responsible for investigating aviation accidents in Canada, took the lead in the investigation, with assistance from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board. The investigation, which is expected to be lengthy and complex, will focus on all aspects of the flight, including weather conditions, aircraft maintenance records, pilot training and experience, air traffic control communications, and the aircraft's black box recordings. The investigation's primary objective is to determine the cause of the crash and identify any contributing factors. The TSB will then issue recommendations aimed at preventing similar incidents from occurring in the future. These recommendations may address areas such as pilot training, aircraft design, airport safety procedures, and air traffic control protocols. While the investigation is ongoing, it's important to avoid speculation and allow the experts to conduct their work thoroughly and impartially. The aviation industry has a robust safety record, thanks in large part to the continuous learning and improvement that result from investigations like this. By understanding what went wrong and taking steps to prevent similar incidents from happening again, we can help ensure that air travel remains one of the safest modes of transportation.